Hello and welcome to another brand new episode of What the FinTech, the podcast from the team behind FinTech Futures and the Banking Technology magazine. My name is Cameron Emanuel-Burns, a reporter at FinTech Futures, and for this episode I'm delighted to say that we're joined by Gabriella Kindert, CEO of Snappy, and today we're going to be discussing the neobank landscape in Greece and how Snappy has developed its tech stack. Anyway, first of all, Gabriella, welcome to the show, but before diving into Snappy, could you give us a brief overview of your professional journey and the experiences that has led you to this point?
Thank you so much for having me. So my name is Gabriella Kindert. I'm heading Snappy, and I have been spending my entire career in corporate and investment banking. I was always driven by curiosity and understanding how businesses and risk really work. So I moved into private credit and asset management, building and scaling platforms across Europe. And the big part of my career was solving complex problems in underwriting, pricing, and portfolio performance. I also have been entrepreneurial, building businesses and platforms, not just managing them, but over time I became increasingly focused on how data and technology can fundamentally improve lending. So I enjoy challenging assumptions. I enjoy the world of new opportunities as a result of technology, data, and AI, and what we financiers can bring into people's life. So I feel very much at home with Snappy. I think it's the right destination for me at this time of my career because I can bring in all I know about lending, technology, entrepreneurial mindset, and help the society and help to change the perception of banking in Greece.
Amazing. And you just brought up Snappy there. So could you tell us a bit more behind Snappy's creation? What inspired the launch of a digital bank in Greece? And what were the key challenges you encountered during that process?
So Snappy started from a simple observation that banking can be a lot better in Greece. Still remain complex, and after the crisis, there was not enough customer centricity, and the vast majority of the population remained unbanked. So the two shareholders met each other, basically Snappy shareholders Piraeus and Notek, which is a fintech company, and decided to change this. And the ambition was to create a fully licensed digital bank based on digital underwriting, where everything happens on a simple, transparent, and always available underwriting principle. So we focus on creating transparent, cost-efficient solutions also in lending and transactional banking for consumers, for merchants. And we started getting a very broad ECB license last year around the summer and moved into launching the bank in August, September. And ever since we are scaling the bank up, and our unique proposition is basically daily banking at a very competitive price, and also digital underwriting and digital lending, which you can do within seconds.
Wonderful. And so how did you go about building Snappy's tech stack? Were there any specific innovations or strategies you implemented to create client-focused banking solutions and to promote financial inclusion?
We started actually not from the technological angle, but we started with a problem that we wanted to sort out. So the problem was that the vast majority of the Greek population remained unbanked and not having access to basically lending solutions. And that shaped the design principle. So how can we create access to transactional banking and also credit underwriting, lending for the population? So we decided to do a state-of-the-art architecture based on cloud, modular, scalable, 2025 grade infrastructure. And our differentiation is collecting real-time data and use the latest data-driven machine learning technologies and AI-driven technologies and make sure that part of the benefits of this technology are felt by the customers.
Absolutely. And so Snappy claims to be the only neobank in Europe offering 24/7 live human support in both Greek and English. Why is this feature central to your strategy, and how does it enhance the overall customer experience?
We fundamentally believe that in current times, human connections became and become increasingly important. It's not only about efficiency and technology, but customers want to understand who are the people behind the technology. What are their values? We need to make sure that people understand we are not fake. we are accessible. We wanted to lower the barriers of entry for clients. We wanted to get also feedback from clients because it's very difficult for a newcomer to get genuine, honest, straightforward feedback how we can improve. And the vast majority of our improvements are actually coming from the clients. So we need to have time and proximity to clients to hear them out, how we can do better, what can we do better, how do you feel, what can we do to make the experience better. And that proximity and that understanding, it's very difficult to achieve only via digital means.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I'm really intrigued here. I absolutely adore Greece. So this is a conversation I've been looking forward to a lot. But could you provide an overview of the digital banking landscape in Greece and how it also compares to the broader European market?
Yes, of course, the Greek crisis and the Greek history, and it took a lot of time, long time for the banks to revive and also for the society to become healthier again after the crisis. They were hit a lot more by the financial crisis than any other European countries. And finally, the banking sector and also the society became a lot healthier since the COVID crisis. So the digital transformation started a lot later. And probably the best illustration is when I arrived into Greece and I found it very difficult to find a cab where I could pay with a card 3 or 4 years ago. Now the acceptance of card payments in taxis are a lot better. But I asked myself, what's the reason? And you can't blame the taxi drivers. It had to do with fees, right? So a lot of charges, slightly inefficient systems. I would characterize as banking was years ago in the Netherlands, where I come from. So I felt that this is a place where we can really make a difference with digital underwriting and digital banking. Now, add to that, right now, a lot of banks are withdrawing from certain remote regions, cutting offices, closing down offices. So in addition to the digital transformation needs, a lot of clients are totally unbanked. The vast majority of the population has no access to credit cards or liquidity support. Over 50% of the population have no access to 500 euros within 7 days. So imagine if you need to go to the dentist or your child needs a medicine or there are some emergencies, you are forced to go to your family, basically. It's quite embarrassing. So you can really make a lot of difference by having access to clients and properly understanding the clients based on data. And based on that, offer available 24/7 available lending solutions to clients.
Absolutely. And so what do you see as the biggest challenges currently facing digital banks across Europe?
I think the biggest challenge is how to be relevant. What is the value we are trying to add? And secondly, how are we going to capture any value we are creating? So it's very easy to create value for the clients, but you also need to be profitable for your shareholders. It's not a sustainable model to add value. So finding this shared value creation when everybody feels happy, I think it's a great challenge. Many banks still remain loss-making. That's one thing. The second thing is there are many banks like Revolut that started some years ago and they gained significant market share. And for me, it's a big challenge to be reminded every day that you are not yet Revolut. Yes, I know that, but what worked for Revolut 10 years ago or 2 years ago may not work for Snappy today. And I do believe that we have good place for many players, but finding this DNA, finding your relevance, finding your differentiation, I think it's a key challenge for many players at the moment. I do feel that we have a lot of room, we have a lot of opportunities to be relevant, but finding the sweet spot is a big challenge, I think. And of course, the third is the regulatory expectations are increasing and it's very, very time consuming and CapEx intensive to run a bank currently.
And could I ask just quickly a follow on from that? Is there anything specific to trying to grow a digital player within the Greek market itself that you have found a particular struggle?
I do feel that there are many, many opportunities. I think the struggle is to show that we are a different bank, to create trust, because I see a lot of opportunities in Greece, but building trust in our bank is not easy. Even if you are an established player, people are hesitant to put their deposits on. So it's a very interesting dynamics. On one hand, there is a strong need, but on the other hand, also lack of trust for long-term commitments from clients. So we have a cultural shift to make. And I think, secondly, where we can add a lot of value is financial literacy still across Europe. So I do feel that especially with youngsters, the young population is totally financially illiterate.
And what is Snappy doing to help with that financial literacy problem?
Oh, we have a lot of plans on that. So we are creating a lot of AI-driven chatbot with a university partnership we have, which we will launch in the next couple of months. So we also established a hub, the Snappy hub, where we are having these lectures. We also have a What the Finance campaign where we explain different terminologies in a very efficient way for the youngsters. If you visit us in our Instagram account, you see this WFT, so what the finance, I think it resonates with a lot of people. They have seen it, WTF, they have seen before. So we try to create relevant content for a young population. We also plan to do gamification and link our lending propositions with understanding of certain terminologies. So in the next months, we are going to introduce point systems where people can go or can score points and as a result reduce certain costs of lending. So we try to link the understanding of the finance with the cost of finance.
No, that's super. And so are there any emerging technologies or trends that you believe will significantly shape the future of the Greek neobank sector?
I hope to make a big difference via digital access to start with, as I mentioned, and secondly, the data. I'm extremely lucky because I'm starting from scratch and collecting the data with machine learning based on AI-driven platforms. I think that's where we can make the biggest difference. We will be able to offer tailored solutions based on the data we have. Data will also enable us to have better access to fraud prevention. There are so many emerging technologies right now to reduce cost of risk as a result of picking up fraudulent practices. So in my view, the next years, the change will be exponential in tailored, personalized underwriting and fraud detection and credit loss reduction as a result of data. We are able to see how clients are holding their phone, where clients are, irregularities, so many patterns today to help a better underwriting experience and better underwriting standards and risk prevention for our clients and also for our shareholders.
Exciting times. And just finally, you touched upon a few of them in your previous answers, but I was just wondering, what are Snappy's immediate priorities and your long-term growth plans? Are there any specific markets or innovations that you're focusing on to drive expansion?
Our immediate priority is to establish trust still in the Greek market and make sure that we reflect this trust in the number of clients we have. Our priority is to serve our clients properly, to be and become increasingly relevant for our clients. This means that we will have a lot more products going forward. We need to serve our clients competitively, and we need to add value by lending with proper risk and proper underwriting standards for our clients. So again, data and AI help in this regard. We want to be more and more relevant in Greece, and our plan is to move this technology further to neighboring countries.
Thank you so much, Gabriella. It's been fascinating speaking to you so far today. But of course, to finish our episodes, we always have our infamous Fintech Jail. So this is where we ask for an industry term, buzzword, or trend that you have seen or simply just heard enough of and want to get rid. Or of course, you can advocate to free one if you wish to do so. So Gabriella, what will be your selection this week?
That AI is new.
Okay.
We have been using data and machine learning and AI for many years, and I think it's becoming increasingly, the innovation is exponential, but the methodology is not new.
Okay, well, you heard it here first. I think a lot of people would agree with you on that. But just to say once again, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today, Gabriella. It's really, really interesting to hear what's going on, both in the Greek sector, but also how the context is a bit wider within Europe. And so thank you again, and I hope that we see a lot of new innovation that's going to be coming out from Snappy in the near future.
Definitely will. Thank you for having me and hope to see you also in the future. Thank you.
Well, that's all we have time for this week. Thank you so much to Gabriella for joining me. As for FinTech Futures, you can find us online at fintechfutures.com and be sure to follow us on LinkedIn to keep up to date on the latest FinTech news. If you like this podcast, you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, or your favourite podcast service to get notified about all our future episodes. Thanks as well to Arama for editing this podcast. You can check them out at arama.tv. And as always, thank you everyone for your support, and we'll see you soon for another episode of What the FinTech. But until then, goodbye.